Good morning, summer 2018 EdTechers. Today I'm going to be discussing two different apps, Pinterest and Twitter, and their educational use in the classroom. So first is Pinterest. And when you first think of Pinterest, you might not think of it being an educational tool. However, I think it gives a teacher a lot of chances to search new things and discover and be inspired. It's a great place to go as a teacher if you are looking for inspiration, if you're looking for new ideas. It can really inspire and be a jump off point for different lessons, as well as a great tool for finding different lessons. Within the classroom for students, I think one of the things we first need to think about with Pinterest is safety. Making sure that your school is deeming this app appropriate to use and making sure that your students have been versed on what is appropriate, what isn't appropriate, how to use the app. So telling them right and wrong searches, letting them know that they shouldn't click on links before testing it out or the teacher testing it out. Make sure that they know that they shouldn't just be clicking on random links or clicking on the photos and just going to random websites. It should be approved, and a great way to avoid this is creating lessons where there are pre-made boards. So the student goes through your board and either they can find the thing that doesn't fit. So if you had a board of like a habitat, a student could go in and find what item doesn't fit in that habitat. You could also have them make their own habitat boards, but again, you run the risk of them clicking on random links and going to sites that may not be safe or appropriate. So the pre-made boards is a really good jumping off point. Or if you're teaching students how to research and you want to have a collection of good sites that you know are trustworthy, you could put them all in one area. If you want to have students pick between multiple topics, you could put them in a board, or if you want to have students decide between certain pictures or certain items, it would give you a chance to group all of those together and then let the student go in and click on one. So I feel like those are really positive things that Pinterest can be used for. The next app I'm going to discuss is Twitter. Twitter can be done in the classroom, and it is a great way to communicate what you are doing in your classroom. So just keeping a professional Twitter and updating it when you are doing new things, when you're learning, it's a great portfolio for you to have of updated learnings, updated new things you're doing in your classroom, keeping parents. You can have a set hashtag for your classroom, and then everything for your education will be pooled within that. And then you can let parents and students know just to search that hashtag. Some things to keep in mind while using Twitter is, again, the safety. You need to make sure your students are versed on how to use the item, how not to use the item, making sure they know internet safety, Twitter safety is important. Making sure if you're letting students have their own Twitters, which I think could be dangerous, but could be also something positive depending on their grade level. A really cool thing that you can do for Twitter is if you're doing a current event, students could use Twitter to find a current event, and then along with that, they could judge if the source is credible or not. So if you're working on what sources to use and what sources not to use, that could be a good way to have students kind of looking through them and kind of judging what seems credible, what doesn't, maybe biases. You could have students talk about biases, or even just what's trending, what's hot in the media right now, and then have a discussion with your students as long as it's appropriate. And the last thing I thought would be a really interesting idea is making a fake Pinterest or Twitter when you're researching someone like George Washington. The students could pin or tweet things they think that person would say or what pictures they would. So if where they lived, they could tweet out a picture and say, my first home or something. And that could be part of whatever person in history, whatever kind of biography they're making for that person. It could give them a really neat chance to work with the technology, but also keep it focused and keep it the topic so the students aren't using the item unsafely. All right, so that is all I have for today. Have a great day, everyone.